Well, hi there. Warm welcome. You're watching the Blueprint Explosive Exclusive, and I'm Meghna Deka. When it appears that the coalition of creeps has united, no one is safe from them. From India to Mexico, from presidents to actors, no one can escape the creeps, the molesters, the misogynists. We all talk about women empowerment. We all talk about betis being the pride of India, the pride of the world. It's all woke. It's very cool to talk about it. But do we really follow it? It's easy to say, respect women. But is our sexism so ingrained that we don't even recognize misogyny when we see it? When India hails the talent and raw passion of the women's cricket world, remember how we hail the women in blue because of the sheer talent that they displayed? They turned on to be world champions. But in the same nation, you have a young woman, a young actor, Gouri Kishan. She was asked about her weight at a press conference. She went there to speak about her word. All they wanted to know was her weight. What's worse, after she called out the body shaming, she was shushed, she was silenced. But it's not just in India. The next two examples. What next? Let's tell you about in a world which hails Sunita Williams. The resilience that Sunita Williams has shown after she spent 9 months in space. We are going to show you Sunita Williams and the way that she spent 9 months in space. She came back, returned, rehabilitated. We hailed her resilience. But in this very same world, the president of Mexico, who happens to be a woman, has been molested. She was groped by a man in Mexico City. This lady is Claudia Sheinbaum. She is the president of Mexico. The world who hails, rather the world have hailed her for the way she stood up against President Trump's tariff, against the regime which was imposed upon Mexico. But her tough words, her uncompromising policies simply don't matter to creeps, such as this one that you can see. This man in white, we are going to go full frame to this, and you'll see it full frame on your screens as well. This man in white, watch how he gropes her from the back. He reaches out there. He just groped her. He groped her despite the fact that there was security around her. He tries to pull her by the neck. And this, despite intervention which was made, this man tried to molest her. In an open street, he puts his arm around her, tried to kiss her. You just saw that. Then he groped her with both his hands. Put his hands around her, groped her, touched her inappropriately. This is the president of Mexico. She is not a common woman. She is the president of Mexico. But this is the way that she gets treated. She too has to battle molesters. She too has to battle creeps and perverts. What else can we expect for the common man, a regular girl? But unfortunately, as we are telling you, it seems to be a coalition of creeps. Back home in Chennai, let's tell you what happened. A Tamil actor named Gouri Kishan, and Gouri is joining us in the show as well. We are going to be speaking to her about what really happened, but you can see the visuals and hear what really happened before we go to her. Gouri Kishan, who went there to speak about her work, her film which releases today. But she was instead asked by reporters about her weight. This happened at the film release. In a hall which was full of men, there was this one woman who stood there facing the sexism. But credit to Gouri that she stood up for herself. Alone, but she stood up for herself against the body shaming. She silenced the journalist who asked her about her weight casually, then tried to brazen it out, asking, "Why shouldn't I ask you? You are, after all, an actor." Apparently, that makes it free for all. But Gouri not only shut up the males in the room, but all the trolls who still objectify women in public spaces. Let me take you through what exactly happened to this Tamil actor. Well, kudos to her for the way she stood up to them, but why did she need to stand up to such misogynistic questions? Well, the answer, which really silenced all, was the way the actor stood up against body shaming. This is what she has said. How does my weight concern you? She had asked the scribe. Your question is very disrespectful, she categorically said. She went on to say, my weight is my choice. I don't need your validation. Well, every woman, she said, has a different body type. I am being targeted because I'm a woman. Will you pose the same question to a hero? This is a very valid thing she asked the scribe. Would you ask an actor the same thing? What's your weight? Well, Gouri also said not one question was asked about my role, about my work in the film. That is the truth about trolls. Also, interestingly, she had said, and this is what her co-star, in fact, let's show you who exactly were on the stage. It's important for us to show you visually as well the people who were sitting with her on the stage. You have Aditya Madhavan, he's the actor. You have Abhin Hariharan, who's the director. As you can see, the director has a smile on his face. The actor was being body shamed. She's having this war of words with the journalist saying, you cannot body shame me just because I'm a woman. The director sitting there smiling. You have the actor, initially had a smirk, then he puts his head down and says nothing. As she said again and again, she was the only woman in the room and no one came to speak up for her. Her co-actor now, this is the man that you can see on your screens, Aditya Madhavan. He was on the extreme left-hand side of your screens. He is the one who came out. There you have it in the white shirt. What did he come out and said later on, after this entire incident happened? He said, I do not approve of body shaming. I was caught off guard, so I froze. Wish that I had stepped in sooner. Everyone deserves respect. Aditya, remember, said this only and only when he was trolled for not speaking up for her. But let's tell you, there are those who did speak up for her. The entire film fraternity, especially women, stood up for her. These are some of the reactions coming in. Chinmay Sripada says, no male actor gets asked what his weight is. Then you have Khushbu Sundar, who says a woman's weight is no one's business. You have Richa Chadha, another actor, coming out and saying women swim through turds to reach success. You also have P.A. Ranjit, a director, coming out and saying, and it's good to have male voices here because remember, feminism is not just about women standing up for women. It is a society which includes men standing up for women. You have P.A. Ranjit, a director, coming out and saying female actors still face indecent questions. Words of condemnation coming in. Then you have Kavin Raj saying, inside and out, you're beautiful and inspiring. Words of encouragement coming in as well. Well, let me in fact go across to Gouri. Gouri is joining us and is joining us here on the show. Thank you so much, Gouri. I understand you're very busy with your work and busy shutting down trolls. We're going to start by applauding you. Well done. Well done. It's important that women like you speak up, even if you're the only one in the room. But you stood up and you did not take it lying down. The fact that you slayed the troll there on the speech, it was an inspirational moment because we can talk about women empowerment, but in that one clip that we showed to our viewers, you actually lived it. What gave you this courage to stand up like this? I believe you were the only woman in that entire room full. How many men were there? What came across your mind? Did you think even once, were you intimidated that you were the only woman? No one stood up for you?
Thank you so much, Meghna. It is extremely a proud moment for me, I think, because as women, we all do have this strength in us. It's to stand up for ourselves, and I found it yesterday. I genuinely believe that you just have to find it, and you can stand up for yourself regardless of how difficult the situation might seem to be. Yes, it was highly intimidating because, see, the first 5 minutes of the altercation, and I must remind that this was not one sentence or like a 1 minute snapshot of an altercation. This went on for a solid 10 to 12 minutes. So the first 5 minutes, I was appalled at the ridiculousness of the question. I was like, what is this? Are these things still being asked? And as maybe in the 8th or the 9th minute, when there is a saturation point where you reach a certain level of, and I look around. In fact, I was so angered by the question that why I hadn't really taken a, like a view of the entire room. But as I was attacked and when I was feeling so unsafe, I was in a room full of cameras, around 50 to 60 men around me. I was the only woman in that room, which I realized only when I was attacked from all ends. It was harassment. I was bullied, I would say, because if you see it in the video, I'm requesting everybody to let me speak. Please let me speak. And I did not interrupt them.
Absolutely.
Despite of the redundant questions that they are posing at me, I did not interrupt them, but I was constantly silenced.
But Gauri, who was shushing you up? We could hear that there was someone in the background who was asking you to cool down. I couldn't see that. It was outside the frame, so we couldn't see. But it appeared that a bunch of men were at least telling you to be silent, to accept it, to move on.
Yes, that's the thing. As women, we are always told to be quiet. You're too much. You can't be angry. You have to be composed. Be the good girl. No. If you're being offended and if you're being sexualized and objectified and nothing about my work, I'm just only my body. Like that is,
Yeah.
Today they're asking my weight, Meghna. Tomorrow, what are they going to ask if I'm going to normalize? It is extremely scary. It's the entitlement and the sheer audacity of defending the question, saying, you don't know Tamil. Just because I'm from Kerala, I've been brought up in Chennai for 22 years. In the video, I'm speaking in fluent Tamil. This is extreme level of manipulation and verbal abuse and making you look stupid. And so you take a joke. It's not funny. I do not find this funny and I don't condone this. That's your perspective. I'm offended. And I call that a stupid question. I told it to his face. It is stupidity.
Yes, we heard that.
And he's yelling at me. With no regard to the fact that I'm a woman, I'm 26 years old, I'm young, I'm figuring it out. He is claiming to have 36 years of experience in journalism. I am sorry, that is not journalism. I have the highest regard for journalists. I myself have a degree in journalism. In fact, I've dreamt of being a journalist myself. And using the word press, and this is what we do, and saying we are here for your film, better be nice to me. What is happening? What is this?
But Gauri, here's the thing. 36 years of that gentleman who was asking you about your weight, if he's a journalist, as he calls himself, I wonder if in these 36 years, anyone's asked him what his weight is when they're reading his articles or watching his video stories. And that seems to be the problem, isn't it? No one really asks men. You had your male co-star next to you. No one asked him how much he weighed. What about his body type? No one asks men these questions. Women, no matter how powerful they are, will still get asked these questions, and even seniors.
It's absolutely unacceptable. I even asked that, would you ever ask the hero?
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't want to stoop down to his level, but I was so triggered to a point where, you want to know my weight? And I made him repeat it, hoping that he would realize the stupidity. He's like, yeah, I never called you fat. I just want to know your weight. And he also has the audacity to be like, the question was not to you. Why are you reacting?
So he was asking a question about your weight to your co-star, just to make it clear.
Yes. He has asked about my weight to my co-actor, and he's telling me, why are you reacting? The question was not to me. What is this? Do I not have a voice of my own, a brain of my own? Do I not get to have an opinion? Isn't this coming from a place of a superior gender and the superiority thing that
Absolutely.
one gender is above the other?
In fact, Gauri, we are going to show our viewers the visuals of the Mexican president. The Mexican president who in her own nation was groped. This man groped her from the back and he tried to kiss her, he pulled her. But that's precisely the point, Gauri. Your co-star, unfortunately, Aditya, he's spoken about it later, that he wished that he had spoken up at that time, came to your rescue. But if things like this happen to the Mexican president in her own nation, to you, you are a star. You are a blossoming star. You're a famous personality. It happens to you. It can happen to anyone.
Absolutely. And Meghna, I'd like to say that I'm extremely privileged. I have been brought up in an upper middle class family.
Yes.
I ventured into cinema by accident. I'm the female lead of this film. And people are around me protecting me, which is what I thought. But if they could attack me and make me feel so unsafe with cameras around me, if this is the way they spoke to me, I am scared for my safety. Would he have physically abused me if there were no cameras around?
Yes.
What is that kind of power? The way his body language, the way he was screaming at me. I had 10 mics in front of me. Even then, I wasn't heard. That's the level of attack mode. He wasn't letting me utter 2 sentences in one order.
Yes, we saw that.
And I had to scream and say, I'm not generalizing press, because I know good journalists. And that's the thing, you feel isolated. Your own team disappoints you. And I would be lying if I say I am not disappointed. It is human nature to step up and speak. Be it your first film, be it your 100th film. If you see injustice right in front of you, you would react. That is the normal, unless you're saving yourself or you're choosing the easy way out. Even I could have chosen the easy way out, not speaking out.
Yeah.
I could have smiled it, came back home and cried and but I have a responsibility.
Like most others do.
Given
Like
the
most
platform,
others do and have done in the past,
Yes.
will perhaps continue to do.
given the platform that I have, no other woman should go through this. Tomorrow he should think twice. In fact, he should not even have the courage to ask such a question to another female.
I couldn't agree
I
with you
think
more.
we all
People
have
like
a
this
duty.
should not be allowed to call themselves journalists. First of all, let me make that clear. And all those people who sat there silently watching Gouri being accosted, well, shame and shame on you for not speaking up. Even worse, those who sat next to her smiled. Well, you should perhaps be looking inwards, introspect. When we hail the Beti of Bharat, but this is what women on an everyday basis, and these are stars that we are talking about. Even in Mexico, their own president. This is what women, regardless of their talent, regardless of the work they've done, the policies they've scripted, the talent that they have shown on silver screen, they are being reduced to mere objects by creeps such as this. Perhaps time, as this entire show is about that, the coalition of creeps must come to an end. Appreciated a lot, Gouri, and I would like to applaud you again for actually speaking up and taking on misogyny head on, literally, and smashing it completely. With that, a short break. Don't go anywhere.